As your thankfully sane news source that cares about you and does not spend 24/7 hour coverage on how our current disaster in chief and his family lack functional brain cells and common sense, we turn to another source of incompetence, Jeff Bezos' Washington Post political page, and how their political writers and reporters have gone after Bernie and Jane Sanders with hatchet job after hatchet job every chance they get, especially in the last year and a half of the Vermont senator becoming such a national and global political force. Now, the reason we are about to laugh again at how incompetent the Washington Post is and how it seems that they are targeting all these negative articles on Bernie and Jane Sanders only for them to get called out on how misleading or foolish they are is because they produced another just awful report last night that had to be slapped down and refuted by a Vermont source, as we indicated this morning. That latest article of misinformation in regards to saying that there was going to be a grand jury testimony sought for in the Jane Sanders FBI investigation with what happened with her in Burlington College was refuted completely by all the sources involved, saying that the investigation sought documents, not testimony. And that led us to compile a list of how the Washington Post has delivered all of this nonsense via absurd opinions or just shoddy reporting on Bernie and Jane Sanders in the last year and a half for your enjoyment. Now, the Washington Post, and yes, I call them Post and not Post because of their shambolic coverage on Bernie Sanders, they decided to begin these shoddy articles on the Vermont senator back on October 1st, 2015. It's when the now beloved David Fairholm decided to be critical of the Vermont senator's free college tuition plans. He stated in that article that those plans were big spending liberal ideas that were all about power. It was the same scary bogeyman terminology that centrists and conservatives always try to use on progressive ideas to make the public frightened to back them and support them when those ideas benefit the general public and society overall. That article from Fairholm was slammed by Bernie Sanders' economic advisor and UC Berkeley professor Robert Reich, who called Fairholm's article complete bunk on his blog. And from that first article attack on Bernie Sanders back on October 1st, 2015, the Washington Post has continued to deliver those types of articles on the Vermont senator just like this, and like this, and like this, and like this. In sidebar, Fairholm's article was not the first to begin their crap show on Bernie Sanders. Just in August of that year, you had their fact checker, Glenn Kessler, once again embarrass himself and not show how he can even do his job properly by trying to state that Bernie had fuzzy math when he was talking about the enormous job losses during the economy, only for the EPI to say that Glenn Kessler deserved to give himself 4 Pinocchios for screwing up his job as a fact checker by giving out more misinformation to the world while Bernie Sanders was right. And we all can't forget the time when the Washington Post thought it was a great idea to publish 16 articles in 16 hours about Bernie Sanders during the height of the Democratic primary. And 15 of those articles featured negative headlines. That came on March 6th and 7th of 2016, and the excellent Adam Johnson of fair.org documented all of these articles and these headlines and created the whole list of them in order. And some of those headlines included, Clinton is running for president, Sanders is doing something else. This is huge. Trump, Sanders both using same catchphrase. Mental health patients to Bernie Sanders. Don't compare us to the GOP candidates. Excuse me, I'm talking. Bernie Sanders shuts down Hillary Clinton repeatedly. Bernie Sanders' 2 biggest lies about the global economy. 5 reasons Bernie Sanders lost last night's Democratic debate. An awkward reality for Bernie Sanders, a strategy focused on whiter states. Bernie Sanders says white people don't know what it's like to live in a ghetto. About that, ellipsis. what Bernie Sanders still doesn't get about arguing with Hillary Clinton, and another two more that were even more just nutty to see. Excuse me, Bernie Sanders doesn't know how to talk about black people, and the one to round out that entire list of articles, those 15 negative articles on Bernie Sanders in a 16-hour period, and the most partisan senator of 2015 is Bernie Sanders. The only positive headline of those 16 articles in that period was a backhanded compliment, because that headline read, "Even Bernie Sanders can beat Donald Trump." And that is what the Washington Post will always try to do towards progressive and leftist figures, to push flimsy reporting and irrational, incongruous opinions and pieces about them. That's what they're doing to Jane and Bernie Sanders, and what they will continue to do, because it represents the best interests of their owner, Amazon.com's Jeff Bozo Bezos. As Mr. Bezos had no problem with his philanthropy foundation doing partnerships with the Clinton Global Initiative, and how he certainly made sure to come nowhere close to giving Bernie Sanders a public array of even kind compliments, and just wanted to just make sure that he was clearly against President Dump when he was just a regular person dump on the campaign trail last year. That's how this newspaper is going to continue to do, and we will continue to always call them out on their poo. For TYT Politics, as you heard my phone give that wonderful text sound, I'm Andrew Jones. Thanks for always watching, and if your friends haven't subscribed yet, feel free to tell them to subscribe to TYT Politics. Not giving you poo. Take care.